Hello and welcome to the Tournament Center here at Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch in Atlanta. I'm Brian David Marshall, and I am joined by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Muller, and we are going to watch a draft at Table 1 here in the Pro Tour Day 2. And take a look at this table. I mean,
pretty good.
Pretty insane. Paulo Vitor Damarosa, who we know ends up in a blue-red deck at this draft table.
Blue's open over here. What's going on at the other side of the table,
William
though?
Jensen, Jai Qintao, Jason Chung, Martin Muller, number 7 ranked player.
Trying to
right
go
now.
back-to-back top 8s.
Yeah, and is just seems to be getting stronger after his World Magic Cup
Totally
win
agree.
2 events ago. So let's take a look at his draft. Let's see what he opened and how he ended up in the non-winner part of Wooburg. Well, there's a Nissa.
Sure.
And he's got that. There's a Birthing Hulk.
Yeah.
Void Grafter
I'm sure you're a fan.
Birthing Hulk? Or Void Grafter?
Void Grafter.
I do like a Void Grafter.
It's just Nissa, right?
I mean, it's
not the most powerful planeswalker in the history of Limited, but
it's a 3-drop planeswalker.
Still a
you can
3-drop
clog up
planeswalker.
the board.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think he's now looking to see what might come back. Is that Netcaster Spider going to come around?
Possibly a Netcaster Spider. Possibly a Void Grafter. Yeah, he does take the Nissa.
He's not in love with passing that Birthing Hulk and Void Grafter. I mean,
no.
There's not. He's passing a green signal, but I mean, doesn't have any choice in the matter. All right.
When you go green,
Solid
where
start.
do you want to go?
I like green-white support the best of the green decks.
Well, I think we saw an Expedition Raptor in there.
Sure.
He's also pulled out a Slip Through
Reality
Space.
Hemorrhage is
and a Reality
on the
Hemorrhage.
list.
There's a Null Caller.
Yeah, I might go Raptor here and try to get into green-white support. I could definitely see Reality Hemorrhage. He likes Null Color as well. I mean, it's very much a color preference pick. Like, which green deck do you like, right?
Yeah, one of the nice things about the Nissa is you can always create a creature to support onto.
Did he go Expedition Raptor? I didn't
He
see
did
that.
take the Expedition Raptor.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I mean, it's a 5-drop. You're going to want cheap creatures. Like, the dream with the support deck is that you're like, creature, now you're supporting.
Well, there is the supportiest, the Gladeheart Cavalry.
Wow. Another Reality Hemorrhage, for whatever that's worth. Is that another Void Grafter as well?
It is another Void Grafter.
I mean, he might be creating a green-blue deck on his left, but it doesn't have any choice in the matter.
I don't know the Void Grafter is going to push. Green-blue is consensus the weakest color pair in the
right, but if you're going to have success with green-blue, it's going to be because you got a couple of Void Grafters.
You know, he identified that he's like, I've just gotten past 2 Reality Hemorrhages. I'm going to take the red card here.
That's an interesting pick. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a read that ooh, Seed Guardian. That's a good sign.
And a Boulder Salvo.
I think the raw power level of Seed Guardian is just higher than Boulder Salvo. I mean, look, it's nice to have removal spells.
There's an Immobilizer Eldrazi.
Yeah, and this is yet more evidence that red is open, right? There's not only a Boulder Salvo, but also that Immobilizer Eldrazi. That said, Seed Guardian is just better.
Right. He takes the Seed Guardian, but that kind of does mean he's seeding some red here to the person to his left because he's just passed, a Reality Hemorrhage and now a Boulder Salvo.
At the same time, though, he's cutting green.
Wow, and look, there's another Expedition Raptor.
There's also, I mean, Sojourner Path Warden, that guy hits hard. It's even an ally for random ally synergies. It's an interesting pick, Path Warden. Like, the thing of the Expedition Raptor is you're going away from the red.
Right. He knows he's green, or believes he's green.
He's got to be green at this point. And I think that says Path Warden.
Yeah.
Over second Expedition Raptor. They're both 5s. You could argue which one's powered better. I mean, the Path Warden probably more power before you look at the synergy of your deck. Expedition Raptor in the right deck might be better, but it's only better in the right deck. Vines is a super nice combat trick for 1 mana. The red has kind of dried up. There's not a good white card here.
There's Containment Membrane. There's also a Seer's Lantern.
Yeah, the blue is open.
If you end up with like big green creatures, you can ramp into them, but he takes the Vines of the Recluse.
Totally. You actively want at least one of those in your deck, in my opinion, in green. I don't think there's any green deck that doesn't want one.
So there's Lead by Example, the support card. No real creatures that he wants. He does have a Call the Gatewatch. I mean, he could go get his Nissa.
Funny.
he's got the combo.
He likes Null Caller, though.
Yeah.
I think the creature count being low is definitely a bit of a concern at this point. And it's yet another reason to err away from lead by example.
Yeah.
And now here's what, a couple lands.
Corrupted Crossroads,
Second Vines,
or Holdout Settlement.
Second Vines isn't as exciting. Pulse of Miraas
is a card that has gotten, a lot more love than a life gain card normally gets.
It's decent. The fact that, it's a regrowth, so it doesn't really affect the board, but the fact that you're gaining 6 life while you do it actually kind of, it's like you blank their next attack and get a cool creature card back from the
Void
graveyard.
Grafter, by the way, came around the table just to give you an indication of how most of the pros regard blue-green as a color combination in the set.
Totally fair. Can it be Gorger? Does he need a giant dinosaur? He just wants Cinder Barons. Yeah, Gorger, not the best package deal. All right, you could take a card for a sideboard, or you could take Corpse Churn.
Yeah, he takes the natural state.
Corpse Churn, people are split on that. Some people are like, I kind of want a Corpse Churn. If I have a couple of really good creatures, maybe a Baloth Null or two. I love it. Corpse Churn in a deck with a Baloth Null feels great.
Okay. So now,
yeah, I think Corpse Churn is a little underrated right now. Like, there's some people that like. It's only some people like it. I think it's at least decent.
Like, so he's really straddling across a couple of different options here.
Yes.
He could almost whatever he opens in this pack.
Yeah, he's green something, and he actually has a color for. He has all 4 colors, right? Because he has one Void Grafter, but not the other one. Did not come back.
No, it did not.
He has the red is just a Reality Hemorrhage. Oh, and the Flame Seeker. Black, he's got the Null Caller. Oh, blue also has a Sweep Away. I didn't notice that. Yeah, he could go green X.
Right.
It's actually kind of nice to go into pack 2 without having committed to both your colors, because it means should he open a bomb rare, he can play it no matter what color it is.
I feel like there's a good chance that he's pushed the person to his left into red and white.
He's passed a lot of red.
Yeah.
And yeah, hasn't passed a ton of white.
But the late Expedition Raptor that he passed, could be seen as a very strong signal.
Maybe. The green signal is, I think, unfortunately, he's passed. Yeah. The red signal is the loudest one he's passed. That's what I'll buy.
All right. So here comes pack 2. And what has he identified
Isolation
in this
Zone?
pack?
Is that the best card we saw?
Certainly, Isolation Zone is certainly the most highly ranked
Blinding
card
Drone
here.
is tough to get into. He has no support for a colorless deck at this point.
Is he looking at the Blinding Drone?
It might be the best raw card in this pack. I think Isolation Zone is just better. It's double white when he's already double green.
If he's given up on white, though.
His blue is better than his white at this point.
Fascinating. He
That
does
is an
take the
interesting
Blinding
pick.
Drone. Wow.
That is a really interesting pick. I think he saw the blue was a little underdrafted, or he got that late sweep away that we didn't even notice.
Right.
The Void Grafter is a good card for if you happen to be blue-green, but it's the worst color pair. Linvala, what?
There's a Linvala, there's a Jiraga Auxiliary.
Wow. He just got past Linvala.
He's looking at the Dwar Isle Avenger.
He's like, can I go back to my last pack, please? I'd like to make a different selection. I'll trade for the Isolation Zone.
Wow.
You have to Linvala here, right?
I think so. He's also looking
Auxiliary
at
might even come back, hypothetically. It seems unlikely, but it's possible. Shoulder to shoulders in that pack. You could get a second pick out of it. Yeah, you can't.
Linvala, which people have identified as one of the 3 best cards in the set.
It's on the short list of best rares in the set. So clearly the guy on his left is not white.
The other 2 bomb rares being Kalatas and
Chandra.
And Chandra, thank you.
Saddleback Lagak.
Wow, Baloth Null as well.
Get in the saddle. Yeah, if he wants to play Linvala, though, then he doesn't want to play Baloth Null. I think this is Lagak. It's got to be better than Netcaster Spider, right?
Support is,
Yeah, you need to put a priority on creatures. He doesn't have
a lot below the Lagak right now.
Okay, you're less than halfway through the draft. Is he going to take Netcaster Spider?
Netcaster Spider.
Netcaster Spider over Saddleback Lagak. Wow. We saw Luis Scott Vargas draft yesterday, and it was clear that he had Saddleback as the best green common. Martin likes I like Netcaster Spider too, but not over Lagak.
Wow, there's a late Reflector Mage going around the table.
Yeah. This is just shoulder to shoulder, right?
Or Stalking Drone.
Stalking Drone is a curve pick I like here. Shoulder to shoulder might be higher power level just out of context, but in the context of the way his deck is coming together, I think you need the 2-drop.
Yeah, Martin Muller agrees with you. Takes the 2-drop. I mean, he has a blinding drone in his 2-drop slot, but I
Not
don't think
anymore.
he's playing
Not
that.
after he got
yeah.
past Linvala, he doesn't.
Yeah. Off a protector.
Yeah, do what you got to do. Oh, allied reinforcements is what you got to do here. I think allied reinforcements is great. It's 2 creatures, they're allies. That is a very good uncommon.
There's a Devour in Flames in that pack.
Man, if that first pick, Blinding Drone, he debated it. Blinding Drone versus Isolation Zone. That's one of those where you just wish you were Psychic. Just, if he'd known, he could just be up in Isolation Zone. Instead, some opponent has it, and he's got a Blinding Drone in his sideboard.
So, core Sky Climber.
Sky Climber seems fine here. Again, it's a creature. He needs to flesh out his curve.
Yeah, Harvester Troll.
It's solid in the grand scheme of 3 drops.
Yeah. So he, zeroes in on the ally.
I don't think he's going to get a ton of white in pack 3, though. Like, the white, he speculated a little bit with that early Expedition Raptor. Wasn't really open, but it's open on his left.
Spawnbinder Mage.
Sure.
A couple of curve considerations. The Scythe Master and the Stonehaven Mystic. The Stonehaven Outfitter, sorry.
Right.
There's another Void Grafter.
Yeah, Spawnbinder Mage.
Takes
that cohort, he doesn't have a lot of cohort. I think that is, it's not like his curve is empty at 3, so. Hasn't gotten much green from his left. Past that one Lagak, and that's about it. Wow, Roiling Waters is still here.
Baloth Pup, a nice
it's a solid
curve
drop.
card.
Another Vine's floating around, but he's already got one.
Trade up a little bit.
Yeah, sure looks like Baloth Pup. You're right, it can trade up. It will sometimes wind up with a +1/+1 counter. Does he have only the Expedition Raptor? Like, he passed the Lagak. He's passed a couple lead by example. I think he's only actually got 1 card with the word support on it right now. It's just kind of green-white good stuff rather than, the shoulder to shoulder didn't come back.
Takes a crawl worm there.
Doesn't have a lot of removal either. Like
wow,
auxiliary.
Auxiliary came back around the table. Now he has a little bit more support.
Yeah, I think this has to be the right deck, right? I think he had a lot of options coming into this pack. I think that Linvala just told him, here you go. Jiraga Auxiliary was in the Linvala pack. And he looked in the back of that, he's like, I can get another pick out of this pack. Didn't know if it would be Auxiliary specifically, but there there was a shoulder to shoulder. There was sort of enough depth that he could possibly get 2 white cards. He got totally paid off in white.
And he gets the Reflector Mage, which he could.
He doesn't really have any fixing.
I'm trying to think if he had any of the fixing.
He has actual 0.
Oh, okay.
But whatever. I mean, put it in your sideboard, even if you're just taking it away from the hypothetical blue-white mage.
Takes the Canopy Gorger. Passes the Null Caller. And last card in the pack.
I like the way Martin has reacted to what's been passed to him. I would like his deck a lot better if it had an Isolation Zone. I hate to keep bringing that one up, but the biggest problem with green-white historically is the lack of removal. What are you going to do about your opponent's random bomb creature? And he has actual 0 removal spells, right? He's just a bunch of really good creatures, and he's a Searing Light. Sorry, he's a bunch of really good creatures. He has a Planeswalker. He's got a decent enough curve. The power level of the cards in his deck is actively good. It's just there's not a ton of synergy, right? It's just his deck is a pile of good cards.
If your opponent just starts to assemble a clogged up board with a couple of Zulaport Chain Mages, you don't really have a great way to interact.
You have to try to get them in combat and get them with a trick. Yeah, so I mean, I like it. The power level is solid, but no synergy, no removal.
He might be looking for a couple of unnatural aggressions or something in this pack.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, we're now hitting Battle for Zendikar, where green is not exactly good. It is widely considered to be the worst color in Battle for Zendikar. I mean, it's better now in that you can get good green decks coming in.
He had a Johnny Offshoot pushed right to the front of the pack, but Eyeless Watcher has supplanted it. There's an Exert Influence. We have seen that goes around the table all the way to Paulo on the opposite side, just to give you an idea of where blue is at this table.
Right.
It's all in Paulo's deck.
Yeah. It's funny, Martin killing that one Blinding Drone. I wonder if that would have created some competition for Paulo.
Yeah.
He may have actually done Paulo a favor by first picking that Blinding Drone, and nobody got tempted to second or third pick it. Then again, maybe it would have just gone all the way to Paulo's deck.
I'm on that.
Really? It would just be...
So there's an Eyeless Watcher.
Not an exciting first pick.
There's an
Sky
Eldrazi Sky
Spawner.
Spawner. There's an Andu Rising.
Yeah, I mean, Andu Rising is... It gives him a little bit of play, right? Gives him some way to kind of set up an Alpha Strike in a clogged board situation, gain a bunch of life.
Well, yeah, you don't have the removal, but you just, you can sometimes just get, especially in a
Right.
green-white deck.
Yeah, no, your guys have
You can-
keyword big.
You can just get so far out ahead. There's an Unnatural Aggression. I mean, that is...
Yeah, I saw that. It'll come back, though.
Yeah.
You can get that next time around. He goes
He takes the
Andu
Andu
Rising.
Rising, yeah. I actually like that in his deck.
Yeah, it's fine.
Unified Front. There's an Unnatural Aggression pushed towards the front. Oh, he has a
Lumbering
Lumbering
Falls.
Falls, which
Splash
would
the
maybe
what, the
let him
Void
splash
Grafter?
the Reflector Mage.
Oh, Reflector Mage, Void Grafter, and Sweep Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his deck better with those 3 cards. Yeah, go Lumbering Falls. If he can get a blue splash in, it gets him a little bit, gets him some nice tricks.
And is he counting on, I wonder if he thinks both of those Unnatural Aggressions will come back around the table to him.
Probably. When's the last time somebody played Unnatural Aggression against you? Now, he may have the deck that
Yesterday?
needs it. Really?
Yes.
All right.
I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, it's not a, wow, there's a nice Snapping Gnarlid. Oh, wow.
Oh, Retreat to Emeria.
Retreat to Emeria is a
It allows him to
pretty
go
sweet card.
wide. It allows him to get in a big alpha attack when he switches gears. I like Retreat. That gives him sort of another angle of attack for his deck, which it kind of needs.
Yeah.
Sure, Retreat helps.
Also can, build up that little army of Nista tokens and suddenly make them relevant with a
Absolutely.
landfall.
Absolutely.
Core
Core
Entanglers.
Entanglers might be the tricky ones. Does he need a 2-drop though? I mean, Core Entanglers does cost 5. Ornn Reef Invoker could get big. Doesn't have a ton of allies. He's got a few. You can make a case for Ghostly Sentinel. Get him a flyer. It's a lot of cards you can imagine taking out of this pack. What does Martin think he needs?
Yeah, he's taking the Ornn Reef Invokers.
Sure. 2-drop can go huge late game.
2-drop, 8-drop.
Right. Yeah, it's good both at the beginning, early and late. It's yet another sign that he doesn't really have the synergy deck, though, right? The problem with that guy is he's not an ally, but Martin doesn't care.
There's another
Ooh.
Retreat to Emeria.
All right, I like it. His deck kind of has a plan now.
Oh, he's thinking about that tandem tactics. He's like, I don't really
Really?
have removal, but this is kind of a trick.
It's a trick. He has 1 trick at this point. He hasn't didn't pick up Swell of Growth, didn't pick up any of the rand. But you
Yeah.
you can't really pass Retreat to
No,
Emeria.
not in this deck.
Now he's got a plan for breaking board stalls.
Right.
2 retreats means he can sort of, and the Nissa for that matter, he can reliably go wide, pump his guys up with, decide to turn the corner.
And there's
and
a
switch.
spawning bed.
Sure.
You see.
Seems like spawning bed's the pick. Not that he has giant creatures he wants to sack those scions to get to, but just 3 more
I mean,
1/1s.
I think he just wants to go as wide as possible on
Agreed.
creatures.
I don't think he can play the
The Lumbering
colorless
Falls.
mana.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't think that he's going to be tapping anything. But
There's a Blighted Woodland.
oh, wow. Blighted Woodland gets him, now that 1 island gives him 2 more blue sources in his deck. Yeah, I think you go Blighted
Also
Woodland
gives
here.
him a nice opportunity to get multiple landfall triggers
Good
in
point.
1 turn for the Retreat to Emeria.
That's a really good point. Yeah, Blighted Woodland is kind of perfect there. He's even a colorless source. Is Blinding Drone going to wind up in this deck?
the Johnny offshoot that he
Yeah,
opened.
put it in your sideboard. Maybe somebody's aggressive enough you want to bring it in.
He was that was
That
like
pack was bad.
he had it out there. He's like, well, maybe it's this or Eyeless Watcher.
Bailoff is all right. Doesn't have a lot of top end. Yeah, he's going to sit down to build this deck. He's going to have options. He's got the option to splash blue. He's got to figure out how much he wants to commit to this go wide strategy. How many tricks does he need? What's his curve going to look like?
There's the Unnatural Aggression. Does he
Yeah.
want the? Yep. He takes that over the Unified Front,
Sure.
which would have given him maybe 3 more allies. There should be another. Oh,
Marasa Ranger.
Yeah.
Oh, Devastator over Ranger, sure.
just takes the big fatty. The second Unnatural Aggression did not come back. Someone probably just ate
It's
it
fine,
out of a.
yeah. Interesting. I think he wound up in the right colors.
Okay.
I think the power level of his deck is nice. I think he wishes he had an isolation zone instead of a blinding drone in his sideboard. I liked a lot of the decisions he made. I mean, it's tough. That one isolation zone pick, it's really like, well, now we know he should have taken the isolation zone. But at that point in time, I thought blinding drone was an interesting pick. I thought it was a very reasonable pick. It was, I don't know, we were a little bit surprised by it. Yeah. But it also, at the same time, you're like, oh, okay, I see what he's thinking. This could work out. It just didn't.
Yeah, he speculated on a more powerful deck.
Yeah.
What's your grade for the deck?
C+.
Okay, and what's your grade for drafting the seat?
B+.
Okay, there you have it. For Randy Mueller, Brian David Marshall, sending it back to the desk from the Tournament Center.